So, as human beings, we have loads of different emotions, and in this video I'm going to explore the idea that some of those emotions are positive or comfortable or enjoyable, while others are negative, uncomfortable or unenjoyable. I actually prefer the terms enjoyable and unenjoyable because in some ways some enjoyable emotions can actually be a bit uncomfortable. Like excitement, for example. It feels great because it's us responding to something we're incredibly happy about and we're very keen for it to happen, but it can actually make our tummy feel a bit uncomfortable. So I'm going to talk about emotions from now on as being either enjoyable or unenjoyable. So now what I'm going to get you to do is think about some different emotions and decide whether you think they're enjoyable or unenjoyable. They're going to start quite easy and then get a little bit more tricky. So what about feeling happy? Is that an enjoyable or an unenjoyable emotion? What about feeling sad? Is that an enjoyable or unenjoyable emotion? And feeling scared, is that enjoyable or unenjoyable? Is feeling angry an enjoyable or unenjoyable way of feeling? What about when you're enthusiastic? Is that enjoyable or is it unenjoyable? What about feeling bored? Is that enjoyable or unenjoyable? What about feeling guilty? Is that enjoyable or unenjoyable? What about when you feel relaxed? Is that enjoyable or unenjoyable? And what about when you get a surprise and you feel surprised? Is that enjoyable or unenjoyable? So, did you notice that one of those emotions can be both enjoyable and unenjoyable? And that one is the emotion of surprise, because you can be surprised in a good way, like if somebody gives you a present you weren't expecting, but you can also be surprised in a not so good way. Say, if you turned up for a party and you learned you turned up a day late, so you were expecting a party and it didn't happen. So that's a surprise in not such a good way. And there are other emotions that can be kind of both positive and or enjoyable and negative or unenjoyable. So I had a go at putting lots of different emotions on a spectrum by deciding whether they were an enjoyable or an unenjoyable emotion. The further to the left you go, the more enjoyable the emotion is, and the further to the right, the more unenjoyable it is. So you might put some of these emotions in a different place to me. So stop the video and see if there are any emotions you'd move to a different place on the spectrum. Another really important thing to know about emotions is that we cannot expect to feel really positive or enjoyable emotions all the time. As humans, we all experience the unenjoyable emotions, and in actual fact, they have jobs to do. So unenjoyable emotions can give us warnings about danger. They can protect us from danger. They can make other people realise that we need help, or they can also make other people pay attention to us. And they can also help us think about how other people are feeling. So although unenjoyable emotions are unenjoyable, they actually do have important jobs to do. So take a look at these emotions. You might want to stop the video after each thing I describe to give you some thinking time, just so you know. So looking at these emotions, which emotion do you think might make us really take notice of where we are in that moment? Which emotion do you think could protect us from danger? Which emotion might make us stop what we're doing instantly? Which emotion might show others that we need help? Which emotion might make us take other people's feelings into account more carefully in the future? Which emotion might stop us eating something really revolting? Which emotion might make us be really careful? And which emotion can make us give up on something that's no longer useful? So you might choose more than one emotion for some of these things, which is fine because lots of emotions overlap. So, what makes unenjoyable emotions quite so unenjoyable? Well, all emotions have physical symptoms, things we feel in our body, but it's also true to say that it's very hard to separate feelings and thoughts because feelings affect what we're thinking as well. So when we're feeling unenjoyable feelings, it can have all sorts of impacts on not just our body, but also on what we're thinking. So to give you some examples, unenjoyable feelings can make us feel tense, like where we tighten up our body, which is like the opposite of feeling relaxed. Sometimes unenjoyable feelings can make our tummy feel sort of fizzy, and with extremely uncomfortable emotions that can sometimes lead to a tummy ache. We can feel unenjoyable emotions in our throat, such that we want to go and to say something, but we just can't. Unenjoyable emotions can make our heart pound really fast, such that we hear it in our head. That's not a very nice thing to feel. They can make us freeze, like we don't actually know what to do in that moment. Unenjoyable emotions can also give us extra energy, but not in a good way, in a way that bothers us and makes us feel a bit panicky. Unenjoyable emotions can also make us have an unhelpful thought that goes round and round in our head, so it makes us quite worried. Unenjoyable emotions can also make us feel like we're just not interested in anything or can't be bothered to do anything. They can also make us feel rejected, like nobody really likes us, so we can become wary of other people. Unenjoyable emotions can also make us cry, and they can make us feel the need to protect ourselves. And when we do that, that's like being the opposite of friendly. So unenjoyable emotions are really quite powerful things. So take a look at these emotions and have a think about them. What symptoms do they give you? What do they make you feel? What do they make you think? And how might they make you want to behave? You probably want to stop the video to have a think about these. So what makes enjoyable emotions enjoyable? Well, obviously enjoyable emotions are the opposite of unenjoyable emotions, so we don't feel any of the things that we feel with unenjoyable emotions. With enjoyable emotions, we're more likely to feel relaxed, be interested in things, more likely to feel confident, more likely to have positive thoughts going on, more likely to be imaginative, more likely to have a go at new things that we haven't tried before, and of course when we're experiencing enjoyable emotions, we're far more likely to smile. So there is no doubt that enjoyable emotions are much more enjoyable to feel, but you can't expect to feel like that all of the time. So what have we learnt? Well, we've learnt that emotions can be both enjoyable and unenjoyable. We've learnt that we can't expect to feel enjoyable or positive or comfortable feelings all of the time. We've learnt that unenjoyable emotions do have jobs to do, and sometimes they do help us. And we've also learnt to start to recognise how different emotions make us feel inside and the kind of things that they make us think.